I know I'm late to the party, but I just had to get this out there. We've got in hand the Mattel Creations exclusive Ultimate Edition Logan Paul action figure. Here we get a good look at the box. Going to be showing it from all angles here. Also going to be flashing up some quick screenshots I took so you can get a better look at it. If we look at the front, we get a few nice little shots of Logan Paul, including a nice little action shot with the figure right there performing a frog splash. Looking pretty nice. Very vibrant box, actually, when you get it in hand. Turn it over on the side, you see Logan written on the side here. Very nicely done. On the back, nothing too much to see. Just got some cool design with the WWE logo on the back. And over here we have this image of Logan Paul. Of course, with a censored lanyard. We'll get to that in due time. But now we go to the top of the box. Should be really nothing to see here. And going to the bottom, just some extra little details. Without further ado, let's put this thing down, crack this thing open, and see what this figure's all about. And that's a crack into the box. Just pull open this tab like so. I was struggling with this when I filmed this. This footage was all taken about a week ago. And we pop open that top flap. And we pull out the figure like so. Looking very nice in its packaging. And now we take the figure in its little plastic captivity. Let me give it a closer look. Looking on the sides of the package, you can see the name Logan Paul on both sides of the package, as well as being able to faintly make out the Maverick logo. As that will flash up right here, you see that. Right on the sides of the package, and you can see the Maverick logo. It's hard to show on camera, but I got these nice screenshots so you can get a better look at it. Looking on the back of the packaging, you got that same action shot of Logan Paul right there, 6'2" from Westlake, Ohio, finishing move, of course, the frog splash, but he also has that one lucky punch he could throw you with that titanium-infused right hand. There's a nice little description of the figure as well. You want to pause and read that. There you go. Up top, we have that phrase, "I am the table. James Hetfield would be proud." Looking on the bottom, absolutely nothing to see here. And now, to crack the figure open. Now, one quick thing to show, there is no display window on this packaging like there is on other WWE action figures. So you can see I'm actually messing with the figure a bit before I even break it out of the box. But now let's actually do that. I took a paring knife to this package out, well, off camera, I should say, which should be pretty easy to pry out of the packaging. Just gotta pull a couple of flaps out, and here we go. Gonna be quickly disposing of that box, put it somewhere safe. Very nice box, I wouldn't just throw it away, make for a nice display piece. And I'm going to cut out the period of time it took me to pop out all these accessories, and we'll catch you when they're all out. And now we're back. All the accessories have been taken out of the package, and we get a good look at them now. We have a set of pointing hands. It's pretty nice for this figure to have. Works well for promos and for certain other shots in your pick fed. We get two hands with a closed fist, which is absolutely necessary for our Logan Paul. As mentioned previously, he could deliver that one lucky punch at any moment. We have these interchangeable bare arms that you can swap out. So you can put him in his ring gear. As you can see, they are pinless and double jointed. But nothing really much going on here. Pretty plain arms. And then we get into the extra head sculpts. We have this sort of talking, mouth open head sculpt. We got a pretty good likeness for Logan Paul on this sculpt, actually. I quite like how this came out. Beard's colored nicely. You can see on the headband the name Paul written across. I could pull up the hair, but I'm not going to risk tearing it. Very nice texturing on the hair. Headband goes all the way around. It is sculpted on, so that ain't going anywhere. So there's that head sculpt. Moving on over to this sort of like taunting, tongue-out head sculpt, which doesn't look too much different from the other head sculpt, but it gets the job done. It's different enough, and you can get some pretty cool shots of it. You see there, I'm trying to pull up the hair, but I'm kind of scared that I'm going to just peel the dang thing off. From the back, mostly the same. Again, nice texturing on the hair. The coloring is pretty nice. Again, real nice likeness to Logan Paul. And now we get the actual figure in the frame, and we can go right into it. Figure looking really nice up close. You can see all the texturing in the jacket, which you'll get to. Get some nice looks from all sides. Of course, here is an image of the attire from the event, WrestleMania 38, when he teamed up with The Miz to face Rey and Dominic Mysterio. His WWE debut. And now, we're going to take these glasses, pop them off. They were a little bit finicky at first, but with little effort, they should come off, and reveal what I think is the most accurate head sculpt of the three. Nice close-up look at the glasses sculpt. But yeah, look at that. That head sculpt. That is dead on. That is Logan Paul. I love the way that came out. And I'm glad all of my head scans are printed properly. And now getting more into the figure, you can see he has his lanyard right here, of course, which at the event he has the PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator card, which is estimated to be worth over $5 million. Which he actually holds a Guinness World Record for. Most expensive Pokemon card purchase. So there is that little piece of information. We'll get a closer look at the lanyard in due time. And now to get into the meat and potatoes of the figure, looking into this jacket, which is very nicely sculpted. It's got some very vibrant yellows going on. The straps are fairly pliable. They have a little bit of give, so they're not going to be hindering articulation, which is good. And you know they're not going to be breaking off on you. You can make out the texture in the zippers as well. Just a lot of detail going into this figure. See those shoulder pads as well? Also a little bit pliable, so they're not going to inhibit articulation too much, but they may get in the way. Moving on to the arm as well. You see a little bit of a mispaint right there, a little bit of extra black, but no big deal. We have the sleeved arms, which have some really nice sculpt going on. The straps looking to be all painted cleanly. They do have pins, which can be an eyesore for some, but for me, it's not really that big a deal. Turn the arm over. The yellow pegs on the inside of the arm can be a bit of an eyesore, though, so if that bothers you, well, I'm sorry. You look on the back, the name Paul on the back of the jacket. The hood, kind of molded in place. It's not going anywhere, unfortunately. Would be cool if it was a functional hood, but hey, what are you going to do? You got the creases and wrinkles in the back of the coat as well. You can also see extra detail with the stitching, which is very nicely executed. And again, the color, just a very lovely shade of yellow. And now to show the interchangeability of these parts, we're going to go ahead and boom. There we go. That was a little more force than I wanted to show, but they just pop right out, of course. We've seen this with the Ultimate Edition Edge, where the arms just pop out. I think we've also seen this with another Ultimate Edition, but I don't remember what. We get another good look at the arm as well. Extra straps all along the arm as well. So there's a little bit of a extra sculpt that I missed. It's different across both arms too, so they do stand out. Very nicely done. I'm gonna put these arms away in a bit. And we're going to get this guy in his ring gear real quick and go over that. Just gotta pop off this vest piece. And the head should come off with minimal effort. Yep, there it goes. And the lanyard should pop right out as well. And here we get a closer look at it. If my camera would focus, please. Come on. There we go. A nice, like, metallic paint used for the strap. And you can see some decent texturing on the outside of it. I was thinking of putting a decal inside of that thing and making it look just that much more accurate. And then you get another look at that head sculpt. Again, just dead-on accuracy to Logan Paul. And here we have Logan Paul in his ring gear. Swapped out the head sculpt so you get a different look at him. Put on some extra hands. So you can, like, imagine he's pointing at the WrestleMania sign there. And I think the body mold they chose was pretty good, as you saw with that image with The Miz and Logan Paul from the event. I think this body mold does do him justice. Getting into articulation, the head, gonna be limited to an extent because of the hair, but you get some decent range of motion out of it. It can move pretty much in all directions on that ball joint. The torso sits a little bit wobbly, but I assure you the joint is not loose. It's just an illusion. You do get a great range of motion out of the diaphragm. Butterfly joints work just how you should. They feel just tight enough to where they're not super stiff, but they're not super loose. Arms rotate 360, hinge at the shoulder. We have a swivel at the bicep, double jointed elbows, which are giving me a little bit of trouble. Hold on. Okay, and we're back. The elbows were being a little bit stiff, but there you go. There's pretty much the maximum bend you get out of those double jointed elbows. Pinless, absolutely lovely articulation there. You get a waist swivel. And moving on to the legs, they can kick out about that far forward, not going too back because of the crotch mold, unfortunately. We have the thigh cut. And now moving on to the knees, we get double jointed knees with pins. Inhibited not too much from the knee pads. Surprisingly, the knee pad does not really inhibit articulation, which is very nice to see. We have a cut at the boot. And now moving on to the foot. The hinge seems to be stuck or stiff a little bit, but there is some pivot. And the toe articulation, right there, you can bend it that far up. You can get some decent poses out of that. So, yeah, the articulation, I would say, very strong. Figure definitely feels great in hand. And just to show the double jointed elbows on the other arms, the sleeved arms. And I forgot to show off the wrist hinge and wrist swivel there. So I might as well do that here. And while I was taking, like, shots of the figure, I realized this figure actually has drop-down hips, which they kind of scare me, so I'm probably not going to fiddle around with that too much, but you like a figure with drop-down hips, I would say that that's a pretty nice thing to point out. And now we're going to get a closer look at the figure from the waist down. Not a lot of unique sculpting going on here, just some solid paintwork. Not really seeing any imperfections. Nice clash of black and yellow, the Maverick colors, of course. See the word Paul written down the left leg. You move the leg down there, the word Paul is fully written out, but with the P also on the left buttock, it's going to look a little weird if you get shots at a certain angle. Paul. Boots, pretty standard mold, but they're nicely painted enough. Just solid plain kick pads. Figure does have peg holes, so it'll fit on a stand or on the top of these turnbuckles just fine. Visually, the figure is quite good from what I've seen after messing around with it. Use the glasses on a different head sculpt. And I say they absolutely get the job done. They fit the figure quite nicely. I'm not going to complain. Now, what was I doing off screen here? Oh yeah, putting the glasses on the tongue out head sculpt, which I think just looks awesome. Quite a sight to behold. And that'll pretty much do it for the Logan Paul action figure review. Hope you enjoyed listening to me babble about it. Here's some action shots of the figure while I get the heck out of here. See you guys later.